Well, I'm not here to talk about the West Midlands, but I will talk about Dudley. We're aware of the situation and we're working very hard to improve children's performance and children's life chances across the piece. That involves working much more closely with heads and with schools on a day-to-day basis in order to develop and improve the academic standards.
I appreciate you don't want to talk about the region, but the reality is 46% of the pupils are failing to attain the national average of A star to C average at GCSEs. So what would you say, because Dudley does not operate in isolation, the education department does not operate in isolation. So as a whole, as a region, what services or what way forward would you suggest for the region?
Well, I've really just outlined it, I think. It's about working more closely with teachers and with head teachers. Head teachers and teachers themselves have actually identified several areas in which we have to improve. One of those areas is around disadvantaged young people, that the gap between them and their peers is unacceptably large, so that has been targeted, and also maths performance is not good enough. So those are two areas that we are focusing on within Dudley, and I'm sure other local authorities are working closely with their heads and with their schools on the same basis as Dudley.
You talk about disadvantaged pupils and their peers. The peers, I would assume, then would be those who are better off in terms of the socio-economic background. We look at the Royal School Wolverhampton. I know you're here to talk about Dudley, but you look at that premise whereby the Royal Wolverhampton have become a free school from September this year. Would that be a framework for all schools across the authorities with private schools as a way to better bridge that gap?
And indeed, we have a lot to teach the private sector. In the way that we are inclusive, the way in which state schools are inclusive, the way in which the local authority works in partnership with schools is incredibly instructive, and they've got a lot to learn from us. But what I would say is that local authorities are now the provider of last resort. That means that we can't directly influence the type or shape of school that we're seeing in our own borough. But as long as they're delivering for children, as long as they're performing for young people, then that's what we will support.